Good morning. This is Jason Dean coming live at you again for another Film Fanatic show. It is Sunday at 10:48. Pretty soggy washout of a weekend. It's exactly the same weather pattern as last weekend. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, again I've been doing always trying to bring variety to this channel. So I'm in the midst now. I think it's going to be uploaded pretty soon. But in a few hours, I'm going to go see the new Marvel movie Thunderbolts with a buddy of mine, and went through a bunch of different emotions around seeing it. I'm actually kind of excited to look. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it now. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. But I'm in the process of uploading a little video on my thoughts about the Marvel universe, comic book movies in general, and my deep love of comics. I mean, at my core, I'm a total nerd, and I'm a huge Marvel fan, and also I'm actually a really big DC fan. But I have lots of mixed emotions around the movies and where the whole saga has been as far as you know. Well, basically since Avengers Endgame, there really hasn't been a really great film, and I have had massive fatigue around going to see anything connected to Marvel, and as well as DC. There's been some incredible movies, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm in the process of uploading a video about that. And aside from that, and then I'm gonna also do a review for Thunderbolts. Whether when I go to the movies, I will review or do a show on that movie, whether I like it or not. Like I just do because I still, even if the movie is not very good, I still really enjoy going to the theater. Just the actual going to the theater for me is still a thrill ride. If the movie happens to be really good, that's even better, of course. But I will do a show. I don't tend to do a lot of a lot of reviews on movies that I don't really like. I try to keep pretty positive and talk about movies, that I really, just that I really enjoy. A lot of movies that I've discovered for the first time. But I think you have to look at both sides of the coin all the time, for pros and cons. And so after I see Thunderbolts, I'll definitely do a review, and that will probably will be up in a couple of days or so. And in the meantime, what I've been doing for this channel is I've been doing a shit ton of videos on westerns. I got this big box set about a month ago of about 20 westerns, and so far I have not seen any of those movies. I'm about I'm on the second disc. There's four discs. It's all DVDs. Got it. Well, I got it for free, and it's been really awesome. And I've been watching all these movies, and I've been doing reviews. And I'm on the second disc. There's 20 movies in total. I'm gonna eventually get through all of them, but I'm always trying to bring some variety to this channel, and I don't know, I like a lot of different things. So another thing I've been doing more of this year, and I've been doing it throughout the channel's existence, but I love to do shows on just music. And so, a lot of most of these movies that I talk about, and as well as a lot of the music that I talk about when I have music shows, all of these things are real big influences on my weird electronic band Quantum. So we have quite a few shows coming up, so I'm excited. We start in another couple of weeks at the All Roads Festival, and then we have a big benefit show for Mid Coast Music Academy coming up. So, and there'll be more things coming up down the pike. But again, all of these things that I talk about on this channel are all, well, I just find them really entertaining, but they're also deeply personal. I just love the shit out of them. All of these things I talk about, and when it comes to my band Quantum, these things are all major influences on the weird shit we do and whatnot, and yeah, especially when it comes to films. So today's show is going to be a music show, and I'm really excited to talk about it because to talk about this, well, I guess you can call it a band, yeah, but also discover how I discovered this really interesting band. So about well, it was last weekend. I went down with a really great friend of mine, my friend Mike Vickers. We went down to Portland. There was a record shop that opened up about probably about a year ago, and with two one or two failed attempts, I wasn't able to go down to to check out this record shop. The record shop is also located in Biddeford, which is from here. Northport is a hike. It's about an hour. It's past Portland, so it's a little bit of a hike. Um, but I finally went there. I went there actually a week today. This is Sunday. I went there last week with my great friend Mike, and man, it was worth it. This place is awesome. I think it's the best music shop that I know of right now in Maine. I'm a physical media whore. I love physical media. I do stream music. I've been using Bandcamp a lot lately. I got a Bluetooth speaker that I really love, and there's a lot of music that's hard to find still in this day and age. But generally, I'm a physical media guy, and whenever I can buy a CD of, or lately I've been buying some cassettes, believe it or not. I have actually a really good cassette player, so this morning I've been listening to cassettes. So, you know, but typically I'll buy CDs. Records, I used to be a big record guy, but records are, for me, I love the quality of records, but they're pretty cumbersome, and I love being able to like take music in my car, and I listen to a lot of music, and I love listening to music when I drive. So and so you can't do that with a record player. But anyway, um, so the whole way, oh, the little story around how I discovered this record shop. So going back quite a few years ago, going back maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, I went to this concert at Gino's in Portland, and at the time, my girlfriend and I we were going. It was a few years before COVID, so it's a few years back now. But Gino's in Portland is kind of like a punk rock club. It's kind of a legendary venue in Portland, and it has a huge history of having punk bands and all kinds of weird music, experimental music. I was in a band years ago that we were fortunate enough to like play a lot of shows there. But if you're gonna see like a lot of experimental weird noise stuff like that, at one point was a place to see that, and a lot of weird fringe punk bands. Last few years they've kind of turned more into a punk or metal venue, but they have all kinds of stuff there. But and it's kind of a grody little dive bar, but it's a great, it's an awesome venue, and I've seen so many great shows there. But about 7 or 8 years ago now, I was going there quite a bit, and during the winter, and my girlfriend and I were going there in the middle of winter to go see some shows, and there was one show we went there to see this one performer who I had heard about, but I had listened to some of her music and I was really into the music from what I heard. And I heard she was coming to Geno's. And this artist is called Pharmacon. And Pharmacon is a solo artist based out of New York. She is incredible. She's definitely like a definitely a noise artist where there's a lot of feedback and distortion. The music is very dark and atmospheric. It's super intense, and she's definitely like a noise artist. But I think she's one of the best, in that genre. Which, again, the whole kind of noise experimental genre is a genre that I really really love. And it's like anything. I mean, there's so much, you know, there's so many different like I guess, sub genres or sub styles within that label. And a lot of that stuff is, part of the electronic world. So I went to the show. We both went to the show, and it was absolutely incredible. I was blown away. But there was a series of opening acts that were really great, and there was one in particular. This one group called Scrotal Tear. Yes, Scrotal Tear. They were one of the opening acts, and this shit was amazing. I was kind of blown away by it. It was definitely noise. It was very dark, kind of dark wave sounding. It definitely felt like a horror movie soundtrack, but it was really harsh. It was also ambient, and it was amazing. And I was kind of blown away by the whole night was incredible. And the sole member of Scrotal Terror is a guy named Remy Brecht, who is based in Portland. And I remember meeting and talking with him at the show, and he was super cool. And then the whole night was just incredible. Pharmacom just blew us away. It was so intense. And I've done a show. I've done one or two shows on Pharmacon. She's one of my favorite artists, like in the world of kind of noise electronica. Amazing. So a few months after that experience, I found Remy on Facebook, sent him a friend request, and we've had a lot of little conversations over the years since that night. And I remember at one point, I think it was maybe a year or two after that, there was we were actually trying to do a show together, and I had this idea of maybe him coming to Maine. At the time, I was running this. I was also running a music festival at the time. I did it for 3 years, called the Feedback Music Festival, which was a variety of different music, but some of the artists were definitely on the noise side of things, and definitely on the rock side of things, and experimental things. But it was a festival I did for 3 years, and it was pretty fun. And I had talked to Remy about maybe doing a Scrotal Terror set, and I think we were going to try to do something else along with my band Quantum. And for whatever reason, it didn't, never worked out, never panned out. But we kept in touch here and there. And he is a real prolific, interesting guy in the Portland music scene. He has lots of different interesting and weird, eclectic projects. Definitely in the more kind of experimental electronica world. But I've been following a lot of his stuff. I really dig a lot of the projects he's involved in. He seems like a really cool guy. So then about a few months ago, I went down to Portland. He was playing down at this kind of punk show in Portland, and he had this other kind of electronica group, kind of noise based stuff, and it was great. It was that whole night was really awesome. There were some other electronic artists that were really really great, and got to talk with him more there and hang out with him, and super cool guy, real genuine, really cares about music and art and everything. Real open minded to all kinds of things. And around that time, I saw that he had opened a record shop down in Portland, and I had tried going down a couple times, but it didn't work out. And the name of the record shop is Color Sound Oblivion, and it's in Biddeford. So last week I finally went down there, and this place was amazing. We were there. I could have spent all day in there. We were in there for at least 2 hours. And the thing about this shop is it definitely specializes. Well, there's tons of records. He's got a huge, massive record collection. And then he's got an even bigger CD selection, which I was blown away. Then he also has a massive tape collection. And kind of his specialty is a lot of underground electronic based music. That's kind of the specialty. And a lot of weird noise music, similar to Pharmacon in that style. there's a lot of noise artists that I do really love, but my favorites are artists like, well, Pharmacon, uh, Wopstan is a Montreal-based electronic artist, noise artist. There's a whole plethora of really great, great groups that do that kind of thing. And so this shop really kind of specializes in it. And the thing that's so crazy was probably about 5% of the artists that I saw in the shop were artists that I had heard about. Everything else was all new stuff. And I was like, wow, this is just wild. And it had everything. I mean, it wasn't just noise music, but it had a lot of noise music and electronic based music, but it had and it also experimental stuff. But it had, you had kind of dark wave stuff. You had synth wave. You also have industrial. There was a lot of shoegaze music. There was a lot of indie rock, all kinds of shit, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And the coolest thing about the way the place was set up was, well, it's a small little shop, but the coolest thing is all of these bands and groups and artists that I never heard of. Each CD has this amazing packaging where it really goes into detail as to like what this group sounds like. So it's pretty easy to like find something that if you're craving a certain kind of style, it's really easy to find it because there's all these really cool descriptive things on each CD and every record and whatever and cassette. It's really, really awesome. I've never really seen that in a record shop before or a music shop. Like it's really, really awesome. Such a great idea, especially when you go into a shop and you're like craving maybe you want to hear some jazz or you want to hear some funk or hip hop or industrial music or whatever. You can find it so easily in that shop because it's labeled so well. So I came across I've been having this craving to get back into finding a lot of newer kind of electronica experimental noise artists. And holy shit, I totally fucking lucked out. So today's show is going to be on. I got about 4 or 5 albums of some really interesting and very cool music. So this is one of the groups that I discovered, and this band or artist, which again is pretty mysterious. Don't know much about this artist. This is my first time discovering this artist who is based out of L.A. and it's an artist that is so interesting, and I've been kind of obsessed with listening to this album. And it's called Hive Mind. It's called Hive Mind, and the name of this album is called Allies in Bronze. It's not even an album, too. I mean, it's going to be hard to see because it's very dark. But the artwork is super cool. There's actually 2 cassettes in here, but super cool. The packaging is really awesome, really unique, and it comes in a box. But these are cassettes. I didn't realize when I bought it that they were cassettes, and yeah, just pretty wild. And this is like Hive Mind apparently is an artist based out of L.A. He's like a single artist. This guy. Allies in Bronze is the name of the album, and it's 2 cassettes, and there's a lot of music, 2 full cassettes of music, and it's definitely part of the kind of the noise world, and definitely of the experimental world. It definitely is electronica, um, and definitely ambient based, and it's pretty dark. It's very atmospheric. It's great. I've been kind of obsessed with it. It's kind of easy to listen to. Some of the music, some of the noise stuff, which is like I got some music, this one band in particular that I might review, which is really, really harsh. Like it's really, really extreme, and it could be a little bit hard to sit through for a long time. But I actually really dig it. This Hive Mind stuff definitely has a little bit more of a soothing, kind of more relaxing quality. It is harsh and it is very intense at times, but it's definitely more kind of ambient based. And there's a lot of cool. There's one thing in particular that's really cool with some of this music and these couple of these tracks of where there's feels like there's the use of like cello, but it's used through these different effects pedals, and there's a lot of distortion, and it's really cool the way it's all kind of combined to kind of create this cacophony of sound. Definitely electronica sounding. It is definitely kind of a dark gothic. It definitely has a dark kind of gothic wave kind of vibe to it, which I really really dig. It's real minimalist too. It's kind of beautiful. It's a little bit scary, I guess, if you will, at times, but really cool. Um, yeah, it's definitely got a real cool kind of gothic soundtrack vibe as well. But really cool discovery. I mean, and I bought this at the shop, not thinking this was CDs or a CD, but I when I opened it, I was like, oh wait, these are two cassettes. But the packaging is fantastic. I mean, I love the artwork. It's hard to see because it's really dark, but it's really cool. The and I have a really good tape player now, so I've been listening to tapes. So I was like, well, I can at least listen to this at home. But it's great. Really cool discovery. And again, I might do some more shows on some of the other purchases that I bought because I really dig this stuff. Again, the whole kind of noise, experimental electronica thing. It's it's a kind of an extension of the electronic world, electronic music, which is my favorite style of music. And when you say electronic music or electro music, that can mean there's a billion subgenres within that, and this kind of noise and ambient industrial um, stuff is like an extension of it. So I really dig it, and it's very atmospheric. And again, it's not super harsh noise stuff where that stuff can be, you might have to be in a particular mindset to listen to it because there isn't really any, traditional musical tropes or form to it. It's very chaotic, but I think there is a discipline to it to a degree. And there's good and bad in every style. But this is definitely not on the harsher side of things. It's a little bit easier on the ears and the senses, but it definitely has more of a soundtrack vibe, but really, really cool. So, yeah, definitely check this out if you get a chance. Very obscure, hard to find, I think. But Hive Mind, yeah, Allies in Bronze. Really cool shit. So, thanks again, and we will see you next time. Peace.